With almost £500 million spent under the new owners in the last 6 months, Chelsea are showing no signs of slowing down with less than a week to go. They are determined to sign a midfielder and a right-back this month. As for midfield options, Enzo Fernandez's name has resurfaced, and Moises Caicedo, that interest hasn't gone away either. So, Olivia, first of all, why a midfielder?
Do you know, before the start of this window, if there was any position I would have said, obviously signing a striker is hard, everyone knows Chelsea have needed a striker, but if there was one position I'd have said Chelsea would have needed the most, it would have been a midfielder. And I know Chelsea have signed a midfielder, Andre Santos, just 18 years of age, but you can't really imagine he's going to come straight in to the starting 11. I think the uncertainty surrounding Jorginho and N'Golo Kanté's contracts, obviously both out of contract in the summer. Reportedly, one of them will probably extend, albeit we don't really know which one. Mateo Kovacic, can't rely on him too much because of his injuries. Zacharia's come in, looked really impressive, but only on loan, also got injured. So there is not that many options in that Chelsea midfield. The fee, you know, you mentioned Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, but it feels like the price that they're going to be, that both clubs are saying, I think Chelsea will probably be priced out of both of those in January. I know Declan Rice is also a name, has been a long-term target of Chelsea. It looks like he'll probably leave West Ham in the summer, but again, Arsenal are interested as well. But I don't really see now Chelsea signing a midfielder in this window, but I think come the summer, it will be Chelsea's #1 priority.
Yeah, and we know that Enzo Fernandez, he's got a release clause which is very, very high, and with a release clause, they've got the right to demand that fee up front. According to the Times, by the way, Brighton have put a £100 million price tag on Moises Caicedo. It's our understanding that Caicedo is not for sale, and I guess, Olivia, that completely backs up what you're saying. If that's £100 million, Enzo Fernandez, I think that's more than £100 million. Could you wait for Declan Rice, even though you might have a lot of competition?
I think so, and I think I read something yesterday where it's like it could go up to 160 million euros, the whole package for Enzo Fernandez, and he was brilliant at the World Cup. There's no denying that, but you're sort of paying all that money for someone that only came in the summer for Benfica. They paid around 10 million euros for him, so it is a big risk. I think, and Declan Rice is one of those names. It's a bit like Trossard going into Arsenal. You know exactly what you're going to get with Declan Rice, and we know he's a Chelsea boy. We know he was in the academy, and like I said, it's no secret that Chelsea have been a long-term admirer of Declan Rice, but now obviously Arsenal are coming in for him. But it looks like the price that Chelsea might have to pay for Declan Rice will probably be a lot less than what Brighton are saying for Caicedo and what Benfica are saying for Enzo Fernandez. But it's whether they want to take the risk that Declan Rice might actually go to Arsenal, because we've heard that they've potentially had chats with him, and that project is really appealing as well.
Well, we did mention that the club are actually after a right-back as well, and they're in talks with Lyon over Malo Gusto. So, Kyle, I asked Olivia why a central midfielder, why a right-back?
Well, I think Reece James, and for cover for him, he's been out with injuries, recurring injury problems over this season, which we've seen, and I'm sure we've all heard as well at times. Without Reece James and in that position, in that right-back position, they look like a completely different side. I mean, you've just got to look at the games they've won with James and without. With Reece James in the team, Premier League games, they've won 5 out of 7. Without, they've only won 3 out of 13. Now, when you talk about Malo Gusto, he's impressed since breaking through the Lyon first team, quickly becoming one of the first names on the team sheet as well when it comes to starting for them. Chelsea have got 18 Premier League games. They're currently sitting mid-table, not where they want to be, not where the new owners want them to be, not where the fans want them to be either. Plus, they've got a huge couple of games in the Champions League against Borussia Dortmund. It's clear that they don't just need strength in depth, but they need to cover key areas for them, and key areas that they like to exploit and they like to use when they're playing. Reece James is a footballer that's been able to do that, we know, since he's broke through and since he's come through and come back off the loan spells he's had at Chelsea. It's going to be extremely difficult to just replace him, but having that cover there and having some competition as well, I think that's only going to help him. He wants to get back fit, he wants to be starting, we know that completely, but having that competition and having strength in depth when it comes to injuries or possibly rotation, I think that's vital.
And Dave, a lot of people asking about the size of Chelsea's squad and also talking about financial fair play as well. But when I look at the squad which I've got in front of me, there are a few players who could go to raise some funds, whether it be now or the summer.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Jorginho and Conte. Their contract situations means that their future is under scrutiny at the moment. An obvious one that we've talked about in this window is Hakim Ziyech. We know that clubs in Serie A have been looking at him as a possible signing this month. And then with a view to the summer, you would think that question marks would be raised over Ruben Loftus-Cheek, maybe even Conor Gallagher. Players like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who was brought in before Thomas Tuchel got sacked. Maybe even Christian Pulisic as well. So there's quite a few players at Chelsea whose futures will come under a lot of scrutiny come the summertime.